Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Can you believe it? I can. I'm here on time for a change. This is a great day. It's a beautiful Monday, and I'm on time. How about that? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Knight channel, where we have a touchdown. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about the NFL. We'll talk about the touchdown a little bit. Thanks, Gunfox, if you're here, for sending it to me. Pretty cool stuff going on in the realm of space and time. You know, when Kamala talks about space and time is a time when you have a lot of time, and then the time is always greater when there's time to experience the time, and then you can enjoy the time in these hard times. But there's plenty of time to take time to think about time. Anyway, all right. Hi, as you may have heard, this guy endorsed her. And when I wrote that headline at first, I didn't really think of the implications of just the title alone, and I just realized that there might be a double entendre there. I didn't notice until I started the countdown and decided not to change the name because I thought it was funny anyway. No, I'm lying. You know, I thought that was funny. The jokes just write themselves. But it's also just interesting how the establishment, well, you know, I'm not one of these conspiracy theories about military-industrial complex, but you know, if the dick fits, you know, it just is what it is. Anyway, let's get this thing going because I got a lot of tabs open, tons of news, and it's a news roundup Monday because there's always a lot of extra stuff from the weekend. So let's just get it on. Let's get it on. Yeah. First in the chat today. Well, I don't know what's going on, but it's Mr. Attack Alpaca. Welcome to the show. Congratulations. You are first in the chat. Good morning. Also, good morning to our friend Renee Mayant, Cara Soldier, Avocados Diablos in the house. And especially at K on Acid. No, first, well, you're in the top 5, and also good morning, Steph Colonel. What's up? I said Attack Alpaca. Who else is here? Mike Savage, Blarg. JB's in the house. As I scroll down, I see Now What Studios, my friend Wu from high school. My good friend, my dear friend. Also, let's see who else. Somnambule Nation, of course, who, as usual, put the show and do. And that's it so far. I think, we'll see how many people show up. It's morning. I know how it is. Looks like we got, oh my gosh, this is only, 23 people here. That's a good start. If you're here, say hi in the chat. Like, amazing disgrace. I should get a honk for being second. Wait, were you second? Well, yes, you were. Well, here. There you go. That honk? You mean the clown one? No, because I don't want to, the only one, Cannibalistic Wizard comes in with the honk. So I always play the clown one for him. But hey, there you go. There's your honk. Anyway, if you're here, if you weren't here, you wouldn't hear me right now. Hit the like button, share the stream, all that stuff, because, that's what we do here. Mr. X51, what's up? That's a new name. Is that Dax? No, that's not Dax. I don't know who it is, but welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. And Scribe Lights in the house. Dog Thrapple. Nice to have you here, sir. Welcome. Hit that like button. Yes, hit the like button. And also, if you want to sponsor the show, pdognight.live. Oh, I didn't fix that this morning. Let's fix that right now. Let's fix that right now, because we don't want to have the wrong alerts. And besides, we want to make sure that if someone is the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day, they get the Superstar sponsor alert. So let me fix the alerts. I wish I had a way to fix that permanently, but for some reason, Streamlabs is not letting me do that. So here we go. Let's fix that. Here we go. There we go. Thank you, Avocados Diablo. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a small bullet, aka 223 in the tip jar, and says, Avocados Diablo says, quote, Dick is barking up the wrong tree. Word on the street is Kamala does not like getting shot in the face, if you know what I mean. Okay, now that's playing on the double entendre now, isn't it? Good morning, Episkipos. Hellsung, changed your last name, and Don Julio, Commandant of Trash, and someone else showed up that I didn't see before. Oh, Bonehead Dumbass. Thank you, Avocados Diablo. Thank you. You are a great American, and I appreciate you more than you know. And you are now the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. The Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day is the person with the largest cumulative donation of the day. And so far, that is AD. Okay. Wait, what's this? Oh, how did I get that tab? Oh, I see. I see what happens. All right, let's get into the news, because we got a lot. We got a lot to do. We got lots to do. All right, we're going to start with, like I always do, a couple trending topics. Well, before that, wait a minute. I forgot. First things first. Thank you, Gunfox. I know you're not here yet, but he put this on he tagged me on this because something cool happened over the weekend, September 7th, on Saturday. Starliner, the Starliner spacecraft, is back on Earth at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, September 7th. Boeing Space's unscrewed, or actually screwed, Starliner spacecraft landed in White Sands Space Harbor, New Mexico. So, wait, now it's time to uncover the source of that mysterious beeping. Well, let's see what that, I'm not sure what that means. Let's see if there's a mysterious beeping noise. Let's play the sound on this bad boy.
Touchdown. Starliner is back on Earth.
Okay,
That landing
and
coming at
that's
11:01 and 35 seconds Central Time, 10:01 and 31 seconds Mountain Time.
Do you hear a
at
beeping
White
noise?
Sands Space Harbor at the U.S. Army's Missile Range in New Mexico. Our landing and recovery teams will now wait for clearance before making their way to the spacecraft.
Okay, so there you go. I didn't hear the beeping noise, but maybe that's the beeping backup noise or something. But yeah, unmanned, meaning that those two astronauts are still up in the space station. And yes, Avocados Diablo, I too agree. I bet those astronauts are pissed. I'd be pissed. It'd be like, come on, we want to come home. We want to come home. And we just go to our home. Like in Happy Gilmore. Go to your home. Well, Elon Musk is sending a craft up to go get them. I'm sure it'll be fine. No, there was a strange noise while it was docked in space. Oh. Yeah, they couldn't turn off. It was stuck in reverse, and so the beeping noise wouldn't shut off. That's why. Thank you, Johnny Boomer Tech, for dropping links today, by the way, as you always do. We'll pin one of those to the top, and that's fantastic. So there you go. Let's see. Next on the... Now back to the trending topics. Wayne is trending. Now, not Wayne Newton, not John Wayne, not Wayne's World, not Wayne from a different world, or that's Dwayne from different world. But no, this is Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is trending. And if you hadn't heard already, now I don't talk a whole lot about sports on here, but occasionally there's some sports topics. And if you hadn't heard, the upcoming Super Bowl in Nolens this year I think it's the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Purple Wayne. No, that's Elmer Fudd singing Prince. I'm talking about Lil Wayne. So the Super Bowl is going to be in New Orleans this year, right? And they announced who, I guess, the artist is going to be. And this year they have gone with Kendrick Lamar's. Apparently that Not Like Us song has gotten so ubiquitous that they felt that it was important to have Kendrick Lamar be the Super Bowl halftime show artist. And I'm like, well, okay, that doesn't appeal to me all that much. Oh, Wayne Brady. Yeah, okay. Name all your favorites Waynes in the chat. I see we're already doing it. Got Wayne Brady, Fountains of Wayne. I don't know what that is. Purple Wayne. Okay, that's not Wayne, but you know. Anyway, so they're having Kendrick Lamar perform at the Super Bowl. And some people are very upset about the Super Bowl because if you're going to pick a hip hop artist to perform at halftime at the Super Bowl, Bruce Wayne, that's good. You think you might want to pick someone who might be a resident or native of Nolens. And Lil Wayne is the biggest hip-hop artist on the planet that's from Nolens. And so some people are upset. Lil Wayne is the only one worthy of performing at the New Orleans Super Bowl. F y'all talking about? The NFL disrespected Lil Wayne, low-key. I think probably the reason... Doesn't Lil Wayne have some kind of a beef with Jay-Z or something? There's something like... I mean, they're not eye to eye on things. And so, and Jay-Z apparently is on the committee that helps bring in talent for the Super Bowl halftime. Nobody knows why. Anyone know why they would have Jay-Z do that? I don't know, but he has a part of it. So there you go. Lil Wayne's reaction when they realized they've been walking around. Okay, never mind. So anyway, so some people are talking about that, and Jay-Z will pay for what he did to Lil Wayne. Young Money, always on time. Okay, I don't know what that means. Anyway, the moment Jay-Z knew he wasn't picking Lil Wayne in the Super Bowl. Well, let's see what this is about. Hang on. Let me put this on the screen. I don't know what this is. Anybody? Okay, I have no idea. But anyway, so that's why Lil Wayne's trending. Also, Not Like Us is trending because, of course, that is Kendrick Lamar's big song right now that you cannot turn on or go to a sporting event where you don't hear that stupid song. I mean, it's not a stupid song, but anyway. But now, speaking of Not Like Us, they not like us. They not like us. They not like us. They not like us. Speaking of they not like us, someone in the they not like us. Here it is. Jason went like 80% of the Super Bowl audience will be totally unfamiliar with Kendrick Lamar. He doesn't have a library of crossover mainstream hits. Not Like Us is a divisive song calling another artist a pedophile. Yeah, that's true because that's the song where he calls what's the other dude? Drake. He calls Drake a pedophile in that song. That's probably not family friendly, but whatever. But someone mentioned here on the They Not Like Us trending topic tab, Haitians eating pond ducks and people's dogs and cats in Ohio is not something I had on my 2024 bingo card. They are not like us. Now that's referring to apparently in Springfield, Ohio. Is that the town? Spring, is it? So here's what's going on. Apparently, the Biden administration sent a bunch of people, migrants, to Springfield, Ohio, from Haiti. Apparently, 20,000. They said 20,000 Haitians to a town in Ohio, a predominantly pro-Trump county in Ohio, by the way. So some people are testifying in Springfield, Ohio, about the Haitians that have come to Springfield. And we're not talking The Simpsons here. Heartbreaking testimony from a Springfield, Ohio resident reflects on how the city she knew as a little girl has changed, now feeling overrun by Haitian immigrants who she says show little respect for American customs or culture. Now, I guess I haven't quite, I don't know, I've seen this one out here testifying about what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. Let's check this lady first. We'll see what she says. I haven't listened to this. I hope she doesn't swear a lot, but here we go.
I was out and about yesterday, driving around Springfield.
I
was looking at the giant holes in some of our buildings. I noticed all of the old familiar spots bearing new signs in an unfamiliar language. I watched as groups of strangers walked around the city like lost tourists, and it was like a punch in the gut. A terrible sadness came over me, and I began to cry. I immediately started to think back to when I was little, walking from my grandma's house on South Fountain.
Just for a second. Now, so far, I'm sure that some people would just say this is white women's tears. But let her speak. I'm going to let her finish. Oh, I accidentally...
Strangers walked around the city like lost tourists, and it was like a punch in the gut. A terrible sadness came over me, and I began to cry.
A very large gut. That's
I immediately started to think back to when I was little, walking from my grandma's house on South Fountain through downtown and all the way to Snyder Park, going to Wren's to get new school clothes and shoes. The excitement of the mall for lunch at the Blue Fox, or even better, to see Santa. Riding down High Street, admiring the beauty of those stately homes and their amazing architecture. Dropping pennies in the fountain and making wishes. And now, all those warm memories are becoming fuel to the fire of anger inside of me. I feel like we have been invaded by some sort of pest. I'm angry that my...
She's going to get in trouble for this one. Maybe. Because,
friends and family are packing up and moving away. I'm angry that foreigners are using up the resources that were set up for the Americans that reside here. I'm angry that another country's flag was being flown in our city.
Oh, they were flying a Haitian flag there too? Oh, good Lord. Walking through the park and reminiscing. I don't think that's what she meant. Hello, GDSOB. What's up? Those stately homes will be rubble in no time. Yeah, so this is not getting to the point of what's happening with the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio. Let me see where she goes with this.
I'm angry when I see our businesses and recreational areas littered with garbage left by people that do not know or understand our laws and culture and are making no attempt to learn about them. And let me be clear,
because Haiti's a shithole, according to Donald Trump and many others who've been there. And the people who try to help the people of Haiti, but, if you get 20,000 people from a completely different culture, that's got to be a major shock to your town. I'm not even sure how big Springfield, Ohio is.
Is not about race. This is about people being given the privilege of coming here from another country and having no respect for our people.
Okay, now she's getting somewhere. Hello, Rockhopper.
People living their life here the way they did in Haiti. Angry, stealing, polluting, living in filth, and acting like animals. These are not civilized people. Opening containers in our grocery stores, helping themselves to what's inside and throwing the rest onto the shelves and floors. Pulling off of the highway to publicly clean and gut the roadkill lying there in front of anyone that passes by.
Now we're getting to part of it. This is the part we're going to get to. This is the part that's happening in Springfield that people are kind of freaking out about.
Stealing animals from farmers and leaving their severed heads at the side of an old school where children play.
Yes.
For leaving themselves in public. Making some barbaric stew out of the birds that live in our park. This is insanity, and it has to stop.
They're grabbing you live in Haiti. you had to kind of do what you could do because Haiti was fucked up. And so what's happening, though, instead of assimilating to the fact that we have grocery stores, you can get some work and go buy some food, they're taking animals out of the park, they're picking up geese, they're eating roadkill, they're eating people's pets, and they're stealing animals from farmers and just doing what they will. Like it's kind of like it's the Wild Wild West. They're like a bunch of cattle rustlers, but instead it's cats and geese and whatever farmers nearby. And it's not, and people are getting pissed about it.
I'm a Springfield. Where will we be in 5 years?
Well,
the thought
in hell.
terrifies me. Will it be some sort of dystopian wasteland
Yes.
with most of our original residents having moved away and those that cannot afford to move being locked inside their homes, living in fear? This
Well,
thought
it's a
is
Republican
keeping me
county,
awake
so
at
that's why
night.
they want to put them there.
I just want the old Springfield back.
The Simpsons. So anyway, that's one person testifying. But to get to some of the notes here, let's see here. Charlie Kirk, resident of Springfield, Ohio, reporting that Haitians are eating their family pets. Another gift of the Biden-Harris mass immigration replacement plan. Liberals will soon be lecturing Americans on why they need to be sensitive to Haitian culture and accept this as a new normal. These idiots those idiots deserve to be condemned and mocked mercilessly. Save our pets, secure our borders. So anyway, the Biden administration has flooded an Ohio town with 20,000 Haitian migrants. 20,000. Someone here, Springfield, Ohio, something warning to all about our beloved pets and those around us. My neighbor informed me that her daughter's friend had lost her cat. She checked pages, kennels, and asked around. One day she came home from work. As soon as she stepped out of her car, looked toward her neighbor's house where Haitians live and saw her cat hanging from a branch like you'd do a deer for butchering. They were carving it up to eat. I've been told they are doing this to dogs. They've been doing it at Snyder Parks with the ducks and geese. As I was told that last bit by rangers and police, please keep a close eye on your animals. So there you go. Apparently people's pets are being in. So now they got the kitty. Frisky says, vote for Trump. According to FBI's Crime Data Explorer, violent crime in Springfield jumped 242% from 2019 to 2022. Well, I don't know about that. I'm just curious. Let's see. Okay, here we're going to do a little search here because I want to know what is the population of Springfield, Ohio. Population, Springfield, Ohio. Springfield, Ohio. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Now this is a town where here it is. This is Wikipedia. Springfield, city and county seat of Clark County, Ohio, United States. As the 2020 census, the city had a total population of 58,662, while the Springfield metropolitan area had a population of 136,000 residents. So let's just use the 136,000 residents of Springfield, Ohio. You're adding 20,000 Haitian immigrants to that population in a short span of time. And that might not work out so well. It's not like you're putting him into the entire Chicagoland area or Los Angeles or New York City or Orlando, Florida. It's big ass cities. This is a town of 136,000 people, and you're bringing in 1,000 Haitian immigrants. What are they thinking? My God. So the town officials need to step up and do something before things get worse. Everyone always complains and then do nothing. Step up, pass a law, figure it out. Good Lord. So there you go. That's Biden administration in action for you. I think someone needs to put something out there. let's see. Anyone else talking about this? Again, here's another one. Save us, President Trump, right here. There's a kitty saying, save us, President Trump. Report Springfield residents are warning their pets and wildlife, ducks and geese are being eaten by Haitians. Like, look at this dude walking. Look at this. This dude just walking down the street carrying a Canadian goose. Canadians, you should be mad about this too. These are your geese. they winter in farther south, but that's one of your geese right there. His brother's just walking down the street with a goose. Good God. Oh, Lord. Oh, and somebody makes the point, Russia is not dumping Haitians and Venezuelans into America. Yeah, this is a trip. Anyway, thank you, JB, dropping a $5 Canadian. Speaking of Canadian geese, JB's in the house, who says, my friend in high school had a beach cottage he went to, and the one time there was a Pakistani family nearby that was defecating all over the beach. Good God. Yeah, it's almost like you need to show people some customs that we have here and say, hey, look, we don't shit on the beach. There's an outhouse right over there. You can go, or if you're from Iowa, you call it a kaibo. Here's another here's another Springfield resident. And I don't think this brother's also talking to the commission meeting. Let's just, I'm going to spend a little more time on this than I plan to. Let's see what this guy has to say.
I think it's like kind of odd that like a guy like me has to come out from doing what I do on a daily basis to have fun, because I see what's going on in these streets, and I see you guys just sitting up there in them comfy chairs and suits, and I'm getting out here every day and I'm broadcasting this, and you guys are just sitting up there in suits or something. Like, I really challenge you guys to get out here and do something. These Haitians are running into trash cans. They're running into buildings. They're running into, they flipping cars in the middle of the street. And I don't know how, like, y'all can be comfortable with this. Like, I don't know, like, who's getting paid from it. I honestly feel like someone's getting paid from it in the background. You got a bunch of people on a bus getting dropped off at a gas station to come down here. I know a single mom that FaceTimed me this morning at the welfare office that really need something. And it's nothing but immigrants over there. And I don't even want to, seem like I'm coming down on the immigrants, because it's the people that's bringing them down here. Because wherever they're at,
it's the people bringing them.
They're in the park grabbing up ducks by their neck and cutting their head off and walking off with them and eating them. Like, y'all get the Highway State Patrol down here every week, and then y'all get like a task force for the Highway State Patrol. And they look for guns and they look for dope and this and that and the fourth. That same people that y'all got riding up and down Limestone doing U-turns, pulling people over for blinkers and pulling people over for going left to center and a couple miles over. Y'all can take them same people, the Highway State Patrol, and you can take them in every single one of their silver Chargers and Dodge Durangos, and y'all can take them to Sunset, and y'all can park them right over there, and y'all can teach people how to drive, since the Highway State Patrol knows so much about traffic laws and know what to do in traffic. Y'all pay them. They can go over there and teach these Haitians how to drive, because it's getting I'm getting thousands of views on these, and it's going to get bigger, and it's only going to get worse. And y'all sitting up there in these chairs, all y'all need to get out here and do something. Y'all making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Y'all need to put on a T-shirt and some Crocs, and then y'all need to come out here in these streets, and y'all need to go out here and I'm out here before the police is. Y'all need to do something, bro. Y'all really got to stand on business. Y'all getting paid all this money just to wear a suit and sit in a chair. I think it's crazy, bro.
He almost said, I think it's fucked up. He almost said it. He said, I think it's crazy.
We got to do something, bro. It's kids out here getting hurt. Only reason I even went on here and said something about it is because somebody told me they walking from the school and a Haitian almost ran into them. And who is getting paid? How much money is y'all really getting paid, to bring them over here? I know it's deeper than them. I know that's where they come from, and that's what they do. That's they country. I don't know what they got going on over there, but they can't do that over here. And if y'all just getting paid from it and then y'all ain't doing nothing about it, I think that's super weird, bro. Y'all got to stand on business. Y'all got to really step up. It's lame, bro.
Okay, so there's a perspective from her brother. I'll just cut that off. All right, we're gonna move on. But that's what's going on in Ohio. Now the main topic. Oh no, wait, one more. One more. I don't. Again, another sports thing. Not too much, but odd happening prior to a football game. Apparently, Tyreek Hill, Miami Dolphins wide receiver, was detained by police prior to his game. Miami star wide receiver Tyreek Hill speaks on being arrested hours before kickoff for driving violation outside the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and hearing the police officer was put on administrative leave after the altercation. So here's this is the hang on. Well, yeah, he's out there in his little supercar, and they
You understand? Not with you, what we do. You're a little fucking confused.
so lots of people out there filming it.
Tyreek Hill.
Dylan, no. I'm trying to get on video.
They put him in handcuffs. Oh.
So anyway, apparently it's for a traffic violation. What up, Jaeger? My favorite Canadian Jaeger ponies in the house. So anyway, that was for a traffic violation. So he discussed this after the game.
You know, everybody has bad apples in every situation. You know, so I want to be able to.
We don't know how fast he was
use
driving.
this
I don't know
platform,
anything
you know,
about it.
To figure out a way to like flip this and, you know, make it a positive on both ends, on my end and then also Miami-Dade, you know, so that way we can team together and, you know, do something positive for the community, because that's what it's all about, bro. Like,
Good attitude by Tyreek Hill.
You guys are here to like protect us as individuals, and you know, I have a platform and I want to be able to team.
Oh, is that what he did?
So that's all I gotta say. So,
Tyreek, why do you believe the police put you in handcuffs?
I have no idea, for real. No idea, man. It's crazy. No idea. It wasn't disrespectful, you know, because my mom didn't raise me that way. Didn't cuss. Didn't do none of that. So, like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out, man.
I guess the police officer was put on administrative leave. Were you aware of that? And if
Nah, I wasn't. That should tell you everything you need to know then.
That doesn't tell me anything. I don't know why he was stopped. I don't know why they kept him going.
That's all I'm gonna say about that situation.
Someone in the chat says he wasn't speeding. He ran 4 red lights and 2 stop signs. Is that what it was? I mean, yeah, Amazing Disgrace, exactly. I want to see the dash cam or if they have body cams on. How did it escalate to them? How did it escalate to them putting him in cuffs? You know, if you have a major speeding violation, like if you're going, like it kind of says, if you're going 90 and a 25, yeah, they're going to take you out of the car and put you in cuffs and, you know, arrest you. But I have no idea why they did this. And so we'll get more information eventually. But a lot of people are immediately going to the, well, cuffs on a man for a moving violation. He wasn't disrespectful or anything. So yeah, I'd like to hear why all this happened the way it did. This is how it is for certain people, and it's not okay. It will never be okay. I don't know, man. So I'm gonna reserve judgment until we get more information. But it's very possible that the cops fucked up, or maybe he was doing something crazy. But I don't know. We don't know that. I don't have any information. There's so many people on the internet speculating one way or another. I will not do that. So. All right, and then a couple of quick news items, and then we'll get to the main topic. Apparently, Biden's Gaza ceasefire plan that they've been supposedly working on, that Joe Biden's been working on tirelessly, well, it's hit a snag. And this is not a shocker, but Biden's hope for Gaza ceasefire slipped further out of reach as Hamas abruptly makes new demands. Oh, shocker. President Joe Biden's hope for a ceasefire in Gaza is slipping further out of grasp amid new demands from Hamas. According to the Washington Post, a months-long drive to get a ceasefire before the election between Israel and Hamas and secure the release of American hostages in Gaza has hit several obstacles, mostly related to terms that neither side has been able to agree to. With the prospects of a ceasefire deal already looking dim, Hamas' new demands for terms in a possible deal has thrown the Biden administration's plans off balance, and officials are starting to worry that a ceasefire may not even be doable. The administration has put forward or endorsed several ceasefire proposals already, has recently been planning to make a new take-it-or-leave-it proposal that includes provisions to help close the gap between Israel and Hamas's demand for a deal, according to the Washington Post. But the administration is indefinitely delaying presenting the proposal after Hamas recently announced it wanted a deal to include the release of more Palestinian prisoners higher than the number agreed to. So it's there's a lot of goalposts moving, and it's like so. Every time there is some kind of a ceasefire, it seems like Hamas just does something to fuck it up. Like they start shooting missiles or they start doing some other shit. So, John Arda, good morning. So this article goes on and on and on, but I'm not going to read the whole thing. But not a shocker. And then Illegal Insurrection also has found that Hamas apparently has been using the hostages to wage psychological warfare on Israel, terror group leaked documents show. So apparently some documents leaked from Hamas. I didn't know. I was going to say something really rude, like they didn't know they could read or write. But anyway, a newly leaked top secret Hamas document exposes the terrorist group negotiation strategy and its ongoing psychological warfare against Israel. The document described as Hamas terror chief Yahya Sinwar's secret war paper was published by the German newspaper Bild on Friday. Hamas is negotiating to survive the current Israel offensive and regain its lost terrorist capabilities to stage future attacks on Israel, the document. So there again, their whole strategy is to be able to still attack Israel because that's what Hamas does. They, anyway, it's very crazy. Good morning, Nomad. How you doing?
Hammer time.
The Gaza-based terrorist group's current negotiation strategy is to restore the ability of its armed forces to act against Israel. Israel should be exhausted, quote unquote, and international pressure on countries should be, quote, increased, end quote, the German Daily reported, quoting from the document. The aim of the ceasefire talks is to further Hamas's terrorist aims. Quote, ending the war is not a priority for Hamas, end quote. The secret strategy paper was found on a computer belonging to Hamas chief Sinwar and was personally approved by him, the newspaper noted. So here it is. Here's the translated by the authors. Quote, from Bild. Now, a previously unknown document from Hamas military intelligence services shows how the terrorists want to manipulate the international community, torture the hostages' families, and rearm themselves. Additionally, they do not care about a quick end of the war or the suffering of Palestinian civilians. The document, in which Hamas explains its negotiating strategy, was discovered on a computer reportedly belonging to a 60-year-old terrorist leader, Yahya Sinwar. He is said to have personally approved the content. The letter dates from spring 2024 and was made exclusively available to the Bild, which is the German daily. Hamas lists several key factors to be considered in the negotiations. They intended to maintain the ability of our armed forces to operate against Israel. The Israel political and military apparatus is to be exhausted and the international pressure on Israel to be increased. Hamas is not seeking a quick end to the war, which would help the people of Gaza. Quite the opposite. Quote, key conditions in the agreement should be improved in Hamas's favor, added by the author, even if negotiations continue over a long period of time. Although Hamas admits that its military capacity has been weakened, it does not believe that a quick end to the fighting is necessary, despite the plight of its population. The fact that thousands of Palestinian civilians were killed in the fighting due to Hamas's human shield tactic, which was added by the author, is not mentioned once in the entire document. What is particularly perfidious, look that one up, perfidious, Perfidious, I know what it means, but I'm not going to translate. Hamas abuses the kidnapped hostages in order to improve its negotiating position. The document states it openly. Quote, continue to exert psychological pressure on the families of the prisoners, both now and in the first phase of the ceasefire, so that public pressure on the enemy government increases. So they're fucking with the terrorists or the prisoners just to put pressure on maybe their family, putting pressure on Netanyahu. Wow. Okay, let me ask you something. I'm gonna do a poll, and it's just gonna be a question. If you were paying attention to what we're talking about, this is the question: does any of this surprise you? There's our poll. Does any of that, what I just read, surprise you at all? Just like, I mean, it's just textbook Hamas to me. They don't give a fuck about their people. They have their goal, and it's the destruction of Israel and the Israeli people and Jews. That's it. They don't care. They don't care about their people. They don't give a shit. So there you go. Thank you, Avocados Diablo. Dropping another small bullet in the tip jar. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot to do one of those for JB too. JB, thank you again. Avocados Diablo says, in that Tyreek Hill arrest, says the cops probably bet on the other team, so they needed to have some assurances. Yeah, because Tyreek Hill's a beast. Thank you again, Avocados Diablo. Good morning, number one is in the house. Nice to see you too. Welcome. So there you go. Someone was shocked. No, nobody's shocked about that whole thing. All right, let's get into the Sith Lord, the Dark Lord, the master of pain and anguish, Dick Cheney. Over the weekend, the big news that Democrats were just so excited about, Dick Cheney, the Dark Lord, the what they would call a war criminal, the war profiteer, as Democrats might call him, endorsed Kamala Harris. Yes, way to go, Dick Cheney. Which tells me, oh, by the way, so the idea that Kamala Harris was endorsed by Dick does not surprise me at all. But I also note that Bush has avoided endorsing Kamala Harris and will not endorse Kamala Harris. George W. Bush said he's not going to follow suit. But anyway, so that's big news, right? And it's what's hilarious about it, and even Meghan McCain, who's not a fan of Donald John Trump, astutely points out, seeing all these extreme progressives suddenly become Dick Cheney fans is objectively hilarious. Why, yes, it is. It is. Meghan McCain, spot on. Hello, Ravon Harris. How you doing, brother? Okay, so yeah, that's wild. Tulsi Gabbard had some thoughts about this, and we'll listen to, I think she did this when she was talking to Tucker. Let's see if this is the part that I hope this is the right one. Let's play this, and here we go.
I have a very simple message for my Democrat friends, my independent friends, those who may not be sure about who they're voting for in this election. I don't know if this has anything to do with Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney has made the choice very clear. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for Dick Cheney.
Yep. And
the architect of everything that has gone wrong in the Middle East for the last few decades.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And so it's interesting because if you listen to the New York Times or some of the other mainstream media, they're saying, oh, don't expect much from Kamala Harris in the way of policies and details and plans, and we're not going to know much about what kind of president she's going to be because she doesn't have much time. They're conveniently ignoring the fact that she's been there working in the White House the last 3.5 years alongside Joe Biden. She's been the last one in the room, according to her, as these big decisions are being made. But we look at who she says, her response to the Dick Cheney announcement today was that she was honored to have his endorsement. And we got...
isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Imagine in in say 2008, when Barack Obama was running against John McCain, had Dick Cheney endorsed Barack Obama, Democrats would have been spitting bullets. I mean, first of all, by the way, I'm still laughing about my title here. It is funny. So, wow. I mean, it's almost unfathomable. And again, so this becomes establishment now, because Dick Cheney. I mean, even if you like Dick Cheney's role in the world during the Bush administration, Bush 43. That's like, so that's just saying that, okay, we're going to endorse someone who's going to have continue the military industrial complex. We're going to endorse the status quo. We're going to endorse, I mean, if there's anyone more establishment than Dick Cheney. Now granted, Donald Trump has made no friends with the Cheneys, and in particular, Liz Cheney, right? Anyway, let's listen to the rest of Gabrielle. What's her name? Tulsi Gabbard.
Military veterans in the house. Got a lot of you who probably served in the Middle East like I did.
And we're lied
so
to.
It sickened me, Tucker, to read those words today, both from Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and Kamala Harris, because we have people who we care very much about who were killed in those wars because of Dick Cheney.
That's hard-hitting. That's hard-hitting.
Kamala Harris has told us all we need to know about what kind of commander-in-chief she would be. And I don't know about you, but I would not trust her for a moment with the lives of my brothers and sisters in uniform.
So that's pretty powerful. So there you go. But the reactions, I mean, Donald Trump reacts to it. There's a bunch of reactions to this, though. Glenn Greenwald, aside from calling Dick Cheney a fascist, racist, war profiteering, war criminal, liberal, also claimed he only became vice president because the Supreme Court stole the 2000 election for him. Now they're all proclaiming that Cheney supports Kamala to save American democracy. It's just the cognitive dissonance. Here we go. Democrat logics. 1970s, Dick Cheney is a war criminal. 1980s, Dick Cheney is a war criminal. 1990s, Dick Cheney is a war criminal. 2000s, Dick Cheney is a war criminal. 2010s, Dick Cheney is a war criminal. 2024, Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris. Eat it, Trump supporters. Oh, Dick Cheney's now a good guy. And all the media, they even got Fox News saying that shit. But here's a great reaction to this. Dana Bash, the most impartial, person in media. I can't even say it with a straight face. Here's Dana Bash.
I hear you about endorsements. We don't really know the impact that they have all the time. RFK Jr. hasn't been in elected office. Dick Cheney was Vice President of the United States for 8 years. He was a senior member of the House. He was Chief of Staff to Gerald Ford. He worked tirelessly to advance Republican policies for a long time.
And establishment policies.
His endorsement of a Democrat with that kind of pedigree is going to make a difference with swing voters?
I really don't.
Or never Trump voters who weren't sure.
Okay, notice how her question, when she asks questions, she tries to lead people into the answers they want. She's editorializing with the question. And here's another one. This dude's good. And he's on with Van Jones. Oh, let's hear this. This is another reaction.
Democrats have called Dick Cheney a war criminal for 20 years. And now all of a sudden, they're clapping like seals to get his endorsement. This does not strike me as people who are interested in listening to your conservative viewpoints. They are hungry for power. They will take Dick Cheney's endorsement today. Democrats,
shut up.
Clapping
Got
like
it. Where's the one? Oh, by the way, so here we go. Let's go in here. Oops, wrong click. There we go. There we go. All right, here we go. Democrats celebrate the endorsement of Darth Cheney. Former Vice President Dick Cheney. Well, not apparently. He's already said he's going to vote for Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. The news was first delivered by former Wyoming Congressman Liz Cheney, then confirmed by the man himself. The funniest thing about this is that some Democrats are celebrating the endorsement by Dick Cheney as if it was a good thing. They literally called this man a war criminal for years, but now they cheer him as a member of their team. And NBC says former Vice President Dick Cheney announced Friday that he will cast his ballot for Vice President Kamala Harris this fall, confirming news that was first made public by his daughter, Representative Liz Cheney, early in the day. Both Cheneys are Republicans. Yeah, they're also establishment peoples. And the elder served under President George W. Bush. Yes, we knew that. The younger Cheney, who endorsed Harris earlier this week, is one of former President Donald Trump's most prominent conservative critics. Quote, in our nation's 248-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. Cheney said in a statement, he tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power. No, he did not use violence to keep himself in power. Now, some people who support him got little with skirmishes with the police who were throwing flashbangs and hitting him with batons and whatever. That violence was not planned at all. In fact, they weren't even supposed to be in that part of the building because they had a different area reserved. But somehow the barriers on the way were open and they ended up at the wrong spot. But anyway, let's go back to this. He tried to steal less to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He can never be trusted with power again. Thank you for the poll question. Yes, none of that surprised most of you of the deal with Hamas. Also, I'm curious, who would you trust more? Dick Cheney or Donald Trump to be the next president? I'm just curious. I'm not going to put a post on that, but here we go. As it is, we each have a duty to put country above partisanship to defend our Constitution. That is why I will be casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris, he added. Harris campaign manager Jen O'Malley Dillon said that the vice president was proud to have Cheney's support. So here's some examples of how excited they are. Here's the examples. Here is, what's her name? Nicole Wallace?
Tim Miller. Your thoughts?
Look at these people get excited.
Well, Nicole, I mean, in some ways, obviously, this is a shock. It's an earthquake. Dick Cheney, Darth Vader, voting for the Democrat.
Look how happy they are.
Call to everybody.
Except for, Al don't look too happy, though.
It's not much of a surprise because of what we've seen from Liz Cheney and just the backbone from the Cheneys. I want to go back to Dick cut an ad for her in her primary that she lost to a MAGA Republican when she was sacrificed at the altar of Donald Trump's insurrection by the Republican Party. And in that...
She got her ass kicked. That is not even close.
He said, in our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual that was a greater threat to the Republic than Donald Trump. There's nothing more important that Liz will ever do
what's up, man?
than lead the effort to make sure Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office, and she will succeed. I mean, that's as straightforward as it gets.
She may fail.
That is classic Dick Cheney. If love him or hate him, he always was clear-eyed about what he thought was the right approach. And in this case, Dick Cheney is looking at this and saying Donald Trump is as the greatest threat in the history of the Republic.
Interesting.
I mean, that is not mincing words. So I agree with everything you said in the intro. I think this is huge news.
Which means he does not believe in the checks and balances that our nation's government system has in place to not have that happen. And I'm telling you, there is no chance at all, if Donald Trump is elected president, that he'll be able to change the Constitution for the things they believe he's going to do to make himself a dictator or whatever. That's the beauty of it. He can't, no matter, Because there's no way Donald Trump's going to be able to get 3/4 of the states to change the Constitution for him. Unless it's something really important that has nothing to do with his time in office. So, and also the idea that the military is pretty split politically. I mean, they're not going to be able to get everything they're saying about he's a threat to democracy. What, how so? You can't tell me how. He's going to be a dictator. Well, how? Not under our Constitution. That's not how our government works. The president doesn't even have that much power. He can try, gets knocked out by the courts. Has Donald Trump ever defied the Supreme Court decisions regarding things he's done? Unlike the current administration, student loan forgiveness. So these guys are stupid, if you ask me. You know what? I don't need to. Anyway, there's several examples of them being giddy about getting Dick Cheney's endorsement. Here's Kamala's next Zoom call right here. This is funny. There you go. There's who's going to be on Kamala's next Zoom call. The entire except this guy right here, George W. Bush in the middle, the red tie. He's not following suit. He's not following suit. He's not. He's just, he's failing. He says he's not going to endorse anybody. So, whatever. So anyway, so there you go. What happened there? That's not where I was going. How did that happen? Oh, I see. I opened the tab. I don't need to open the tab. So anyway, there you go. Oh, Kurt Schlichter. What did Kurt Schlichter say? I'm just waiting for George W. Bush to endorse Kamala. You know it's going to happen. No. In fact, I think he's already made a statement that he's not going to be endorsing anybody. According to Ace Spades, the betrayal is almost complete. Everything we have ever said about them, that this is a cadre of people who hate us so much but pander to us completely and sincerely about the handful of issues we care about, so they trick us into voting for them so they can pass endless tax cuts for themselves and fund endless foreign wars, is now just been proven. That's interesting. So, thank you real quick. Gunfox61 dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar, and you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Who says blame the GOP for everything? So he's got an article for me here. I'll drop that in the links. And also, Avocados Diablo dropping another small bullet in the tip jar, another 223, who says, quote, we haven't heard this election cycle. Who is David Duke endorsing? Usually by now we would have been told. Makes me a little bit suspicious, I am also curious. In fact, let's see. Let's see. David Duke endorses. That's what I'm gonna put. Because didn't he endorse Biden last time? Oh, someone here says that's 2020. No. That's 2016. No, it looks like he's in 2016, I didn't even endorse Trump. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't say. I thought he endorsed Biden last time, though, didn't he? Or he didn't want to vote for Trump. I know that. So anyway, all right. Let's and then one more article about the old Dick Cheney thing, the appropriately named Dick Cheney. And I still like my title, endorsed by Dick. How appropriate. Byron Donalds destroys Dick Cheney over Kamala endorsement. If you're familiar with, okay, who's this? Mark Margolis. Should we I don't want to read the article. Let's just see Byron Donald do his work. Shall we? Shall we just watch Byron Donald's work? Here we go.
Here's in part what he said, quote, in our nation's 248-year history, there's never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump.
Really?
What would you say
to Vice President? Worse than Dick Cheney? Okay.
Cheney in response to that?
My first response is I really don't care what he thinks. Secondarily, if you look at the way Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have led the current administration, they suppressed the free speech of the American people.
Ding.
It was the Biden campaign that lied to the world during the last presidential election using the intelligence agencies and 51 intelligence officers to lie about the laptop from hell.
Wow, look at his eyes.
Biden
Why is he so
campaign
freaked
did.
out?
They lied about all the impacts using the COVID-19 vaccine.
Ding.
They tried to use OSHA to mandate 80 million Americans getting that vaccine.
Ding.
They fired over 10,000 soldiers from our military over the same situation.
Ding.
And right now we have a situation where Kamala Harris has lied to the world about the health and mental capabilities of Joe Biden.
Ding.
So you put all that together. And
Look
then
at the
you have
dude.
this
He's like,
statement from
look
Dick
at,
Cheney.
why is his eyes wide open? Is he on Adderall or this guy, the guy he's talking to? Why is his eyes so wide open? He's like, he doesn't know what to say. He don't know what to say.
Look at what's actually been happening with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the threat they are to democracy, not what Dick Cheney's saying.
I can only say damn. Damn. That's how Byron. See, I like Byron Donalds. I like how he can just. They ask a question that they just shouldn't have asked, because every time he's going to have an answer that they don't like. So, and then in American Greatness, we also have an article about Liz Cheney's Kamala endorsement, a symptom of elite panic. This is by Roger Kimball. Perhaps my favorite moment in R.F. Kennedy's speech announcing the suspension of his presidential campaign and endorsement of Donald Trump was the rhetorical question, who needs a policy when you have Trump to hate? Oh, that's a good point. This guy says, I was reminded of that in the last couple of days as first Liz and then her father, Dick Cheney, declared they were endorsing Kamala Harris for president. I guess the legacy media regards those endorsements as big news because if you try to search for some of the blistering attacks Liz Cheney unleashed on Harris in the past, all you get is a solid wall of rah-rah headlines about what a big deal it is that the Cheneys turned on their party and endorsed Kamala. My own feeling is that Ann Coulter got it exactly right in her amusing post. Uh-oh, I just heard the news. Dick Cheney is voting Kamala. This is the big one. Now, if they lose David French, this thing is over. O-V-E-R, over. Oh, God. David French. Of course, the Cheneys are not huddling with Kamala because they like what she stands for. They, like the scores of other neocons who have endorsed Harris, are doing so because they hate and fear Trump. Sure, we have our disagreements with Harris, they say, but the alternative is simply untenable. 2 points. First, their fear of Trump is not irrational. True, when he was elected in 2016, he did not lock her up, Hillary Clinton, though he had better grounds to investigate her than the DOJ had to investigate him after he became president. Nor, despite Trump's talk of retribution, do I believe he will weaponize the DOJ and other agencies to go after his political opponents. That's what Democrats and never Trump neocons do. But there will, I am confident, be a reckoning. Part of what this will entail was described well by Article 3 Project founder and president and former chief counsel for nominations to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chuck Grassley, Mike Davis. A political neophyte when he came into office in 2016, Trump has learned his lesson. He will come back to office in 2025 with a plan to clean house on day one. Yes, remember that drain the swamp thing he was always talking about? They didn't do so well with, hello Tyler F, by the way. That didn't work out the way we'd hoped. Well, I think he's got ideas for that now that he's been there, he's got some experience. That spring cleaning will have emanations and penumbra. Liz Cheney will not be going to jail, but she and her many ideological confreres will have their irrelevancy ratified and confirmed. Politically, they and their globalist agenda will be history. The second point is about the comment that Trump's re-election is untenable, an alternative that is just too horrible to contemplate. That's what the anti-Trump narrative says, but on what grounds? We know what Trump would be like as president because he's already served a full 4-year term. There are things to criticize, profligate spending, and above all, his handling of the COVID hysteria. But by and large, he had not just a successful, but wildly successful term. I've rehearsed his accomplishments here and elsewhere many times. For now, just to remind you that we had a southern border, that the flow of illegal immigration was slow to a trickle. We were energy independent and cost of energy was low and sinking. There was a peace in the Middle East thanks to Trump's initiatives, especially the Abraham Accords. There was peace more generally. Putin did not invade Ukraine during Trump's tenure. Unemployment was the lowest it had been in decades. Minority employment was the lowest on record. Inflation was 1.4%. Real wages were rising, especially at the lower ends of the scale. Trump rolled back onerous and counterproductive regulations that hampered prosperity. Trump began dismantling Title IX insanity at colleges and universities, and he also took aim at DEI and ESG initiative that had so negatively affected American business and government agencies. That's 10 items out of scores one could recite. The week before the presidential elections are fraught. The weeks before a presidential election are fraught. As in war, the first casualty is truth. And while it has been the case for decades, the rhetorical atmosphere has become more and more poisonous in recent election cycles. There's probably nothing one can do about that except tune out the media bullhorns disseminating the mendacious narrative. No one's crystal ball is what the fuck? This guy likes to use some $20 words when he could use a $1 word. No one's crystal ball is I can't even say this damn word. Perspicacious enough to say who will win on November 5th. Or let me amend that. No one's crystal ball is perspicacious enough to say who will be afforded victory. Now, notice the difference in that? Who will win versus who will be afforded victory. As I write, Kamala Harris's campaign is flailing. The rush of people like the Cheneys to her banner is not a sign of strength. It's a sign of desperation. I expect those feelings of desperation to increase as we approach Election Day. I agree. Will Donald Trump be allowed to win? Will he be allowed to take office? No one knows the answer to those questions. It will be interesting to see if hatred of Donald Trump by the entrenched globalist elite is enough to suppress or obfuscate the vote. If I had to bet, I'd say Trump's disciplined campaign, his own charisma, and the supporters he has garnered from stars like Elon Musk, Robert Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and Vivek Ramaswamy will win today. I'm struggling. Of course, I only, when you're on X, if you interact with people on the other side, that's the only information you get. So I'm hearing those people all the time. They seem pretty excited. True, he will probably be outspent at least 2-1 as he was last time. But at the end of the day, I doubt that will save the frenzied, joy-laden Walz Harris campaign. So there you go. That's article on American greatness. Now we got to go through these headlines a little faster now because there's a whole bunch of them, and I want to get through a lot of these. Big words hard. P-Dog 2024. Yeah, it's not so much it's hard. That word is a tongue twister in itself. Perspicacious. It's just that's a crazy word. P-Dog is unsophisticated. Give him a break. Yeah, I'm unsophisticated, motherfucker. I am just, don't fuck with me. I'm just kidding. You know I love you, brother. All right, let's get through some of these headlines faster. FBI foils a mass shooting plan to rack up a lot of Jews. Oh, good Lord. The New York Joint Terrorism Task Force of the FBI, working with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, apprehended terrorist suspect Mohammed Khan for planning a terror attack in Brooklyn, New York City. FBI's undercover investigators communicated with the Khans via encrypted message apps and learned that he planned a mass shooting in an undisclosed Jewish center in Brooklyn. Khan planned the attack to take place near October 7th, the anniversary of Hamas's brutal attack on mostly unarmed Israeli citizens, which resulted in an unknown number of just very bad things happening and 12,000 deaths. So here's the announcement.
I'm Rob Kassane, Special Agent in charge of the New York Joint Terrorism Task Force. I want to update you on an arrest our team recently made with our partners in Canada.
Oh,
the Royal Canadian Mounted Police arrested Mohammed Khan on a material support of terrorism warrant issued out of the Southern District of New York. During our investigation, we discovered Khan used encrypted messaging apps in planning a mass shooting attack at a Jewish site in New York City.
Did they really need to do jump cuts in this? And why is he breathing so hard?
On or around the 1-year anniversary of the October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. Due to great work by the New
This guy have emphysema or something? What's with the
New York Joint Terrorism Task Force and the New York field office, Khan's alleged plot was disrupted.
He's nervous. He doesn't do these videos very often.
Once we uncovered this threat, we worked with our partners in Canada to arrest Khan before he could carry out his deadly plot. Terrorism has no place in our society.
True.
This case underscores the commitment of our Joint Terrorism Task Force in New York City to continue to aggressively work to prevent deadly plots.
Okay, I don't need the editorial part. That's the news that they uncovered a plot. There you go. Moving on, Daily Wire. Several Islamist terrorists arrested for alleged plot to assassinate the Pope. So there's a lot of shit going on. They were going to try to assassinate the Pope now. Several suspected ISIS terrorists were arrested in Indonesia last week for allegedly plotting to assassinate Pope Francis during a visit to the country. Indonesia's anti-terrorism police, Detachment 88, said in a statement that the 7 suspects were arrested early in the week in various cities throughout the country, the Straits Times reported. The full names of the suspects were not released, but the police said their initials were blah, 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 blah. So anyway, another plot foiled. That's interesting. In National Pulse, leaked Army advisory warns of migrant gang violence in major cities. What? How could that be? How could that be? Threat advisory issued by the U.S. Army to the Department of Defense personnel across the country warns that Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua has established a significant foothold in multiple American cities and poses a serious danger to local, state, and federal law enforcement. Isn't that what's happening in Denver? And also now in Chicago, the couple of places. Let's see. X to doubt on the FBI thing. Interesting. The document, designated as controlled unclassified information and obtained by investigative journalist James O'Keefe, states the violent migrant gang is employing advanced technology and surveillance to execute their criminal operation. The advisory states that TDA, that's the gang, has established a presence in Brooklyn, Bronx, and Williamsburg, New York, with an estimated 400 gang members taking up residence in the boroughs. Additionally, the U.S. Army warns that the gang has forged close ties to Iranian-backed terrorist groups, and including Hamas and Hezbollah. So somehow James O'Keefe got some of these documents, and now they're so the Army's acknowledging this. The problem is the Army can't do anything about it. They can't work on domestic soil, so they probably have to hand it off to the FBI, who, is compromised and don't give a fuck. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. Thank you. But yeah. Is that shocking? No, we're starting to see it in various cities. Thank you, Avocados Diablo. Again, sponsor the show with a big bullet, who says, so the FBI is 1 out of 2 for mass shootings they knew about and could have stopped in the last week. Guess they really want us to forget about the one they missed the other day. Yeah, yes, exactly. That's exactly right. They're a bunch of clowns. In fact, I have an update on that too coming up. All right, moving on. Remember that bill in California where they were going to allow undocumented migrants to get home loan assistance up to $150,000 in down payment assistance? Well, I think California Governor Gavin Newsom saw the writing on the wall as far as how that would go politically, and he has vetoed the bill. California Governor Gavin Newsom has vetoed a bill that would have extended home loans to undocumented immigrants under a program designed to increase home ownership in their state. Newsom on Friday returned the Assembly Bill 1840 to state legislators without his signature. Oh, he didn't veto it? Or did he just not sign it and send it back? I'm curious because that's not the same thing. He returned Assembly Bill 1840 to state legislators without his signature, according to a letter signed by the governor and obtained by media outlets. This bill seeks to prohibit the disqualification of applicants from one of California's housing finance agency's home purchase assistance programs based solely on their immigration status, he wrote. Given the finite funding available for Cal HFA programs, expanding program eligibility must be carefully considered within the broader context of the annual state budget to ensure we manage our resources effectively. Yeah, because don't you have like a $50 billion deficit in California right now? I mean, I don't know if that's just a number I pulled out of my butthole, but it's pretty, they have a deficit. California is like major deficit spending. So for this reason, I am unable to sign this bill. But did he veto the bill? That's different than unable to sign it. There's a difference between not signing a bill and vetoing a bill. When you don't sign a bill in some states without an actual veto, the bill can go into effect after a period of time. I don't know how that works in California versus an actual veto that the state legislature would have to override with votes. I'm curious what he actually did here. Now, someone here said the bill sponsored Democratic Assembly member Joaquin Arambolo told KNBC last week the measure was needed to enhance the state's base of home ownership. Well, and quote, undocumented individuals have historically been removed from the housing initiatives because of federal restrictions. Ensuring universal access by all borrowers will contribute to the overall success and vitality of California. No, it won't. No, you will destroy the success and vitality of California because you're going to blow your budgets out of the water and you weren't going to have any resources for Americans. God, these people, it's amazing that how they think. Moving on. Now, speaking of the Pew Pew events, 2 articles about this. One, the Georgia shooter messages showed frustration with the lack of trans acceptance. Why are we starting to get all these trans Pew Pew event at places of childhood learnings? Why all of a sudden? Because like the last 5 major ones were all had mental issues regarding their identities. Get ready for this story to drop out of the headlines like a rock. News reports indicate that messages from an account on Discord, a private messaging platform that had been linked to the 14-year-old Appalachia high school shooter, expressed frustrations at the lack of acceptance of transgender people in society. This is CNN reports. Authorities searching the home of 14-year-old accused of killing 4 people at a Georgia high school this week found documents that they believe he wrote referencing past school shootings. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation told This is CNN. They added the account reference for Adam Lanza and the Sandy Hook elementary school shooter, and in separate posts shared a desire to target an elementary school and express frustration with the acceptance of transgender people. Oh, this is not the, is this the Georgia one? Oh yeah, it is. While CNN did their best to vague up exactly where the account user stood on the trans issue, the Post Millennial points out that a transcript of the conversation between the shooter's father, Colin Gray, and investigators from back in 2023 shows Gray claimed his son was being bullied at school for being queer. That interview was conducted as a part of an investigation into threatening posts the shooter reportedly made on social media, which landed him on the FBI's radar. So that's how they found Colt, the unfortunately named Colt. So there you go. That's that. Now, in another story though, apparently too, here's another story that this is amazing to me. This would be amazing. Report. Mother of alleged Appalachia here we go. A report from the Washington Post confirmed by the Associated Press claims the alleged Appalachia high school attacker's mother warned the school of an extreme emergency a half hour before the shooting began. The Associated Press reported that the 14-year-old attacker's aunt, Annie Brown, said the boy's mom spoke with the school counselor and urged them to immediately find her son and check on him. The Tennessee Star noted that the Post zeroed in on text messages that showed that the school and family were in contact about the mental health of the 14-year-old. A week before the shooting, Brown had allegedly informed a relative that the alleged attacker was having a homicidal and suicidal thoughts. On September 5th, 2024, The day after the Appalachia High School attack, the 14-year-old's father, Colin Ray, was arrested and charged with involuntary manslaughter and second-degree murder, among other things. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations explained that the charges stem from Mr. Gray's knowingly allowing his son to possess a weapon. But yeah, apparently a half hour before shit hit the fan, mother called the school, or warned the school of an extreme emergency. So I'm does that mean they could have stopped it? I don't know. But did they take it seriously or not? I don't know. Moving on. This is a site called Hollywood and Toto. And Jack Posobiec wrote a book about the Trump assassination attempt, right? And usually, you want to promote your book, you want to get it out there, and you sell it on Amazon, and the first few days of a book's release are kind of crucial to the selling of that book, right? Well, so Jack Posobiec writes this book called Bulletproof. And Amazon apparently put the wrong book cover up for the sale of this book. Amazon power's holds over Western culture cannot be denied. The digital megastore the digital megastore rules over the publishing landscape. Its Prime Video service remains a serious, deep-pocketed rival to Netflix. Its swift delivery methods click with our short attention span age. The platform also regularly censors content that doesn't fit the progressive narrative. Now, the latest example is a stunner. Conservative pundit Jack Posobiec co-wrote a book with Joshua Lisek recalling the assassination attempt on President Donald Trump's life just weeks ago. It's called Bulletproof: How a Shot Meant for Donald Trump Took Out Joe Biden. The title refers to Trump's triumphant reaction to the attack, as well as President Biden's subsequent withdrawal from the presidential race. Bulletproof, how a shot. Okay, then they're just describing the book. Now, the book's going to be available October 22nd, roughly 2 weeks before Election Day. Pre-sales always loom large over new book titles. Yet when Amazon visitors come to the page, they find this image, not the one Posobiec intended. So here's the image. The book is called Bulletproof. Can you see that? I wonder if I don't know if I can make that. No, that makes it smaller. Anyway, Bulletproof: How a Shot Meant for Donald Trump Took Out Joe Biden. But the book cover is for some queer something book called Kinfolk. That's not the book. What the hell is that? What the bloody hell is that? The visual appears from an obscure culture magazine called Kinship. Author and cartoonist Scott Adams shared the news via his X account. He called the fake cover a porn book, so he's either mischaracterizing the image or a previous version of the Amazon page featured a different visual. You really have to ask yourself, did that happen by chance? Adams said of the mistake, adding that the mega seller also tinkered with one of his titles. So here it is. I don't know what's going on, but this is not a cover of Bulletproof. So that's the color of Bulletproof on the right. This is the cover of Kinfolk on the left that they put up under Jack Posobiec's listing. So, gee, I'm sure that was just an accident. I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they didn't do that on purpose. I'm sure that was just they had a glitch, and they had a glitch that put the wrong book up under that title, because the title was pretty self-explanatory. But apparently, if you don't see the title, it's not self-explanatory anymore. In Breitbart, lawfare brought me off the sidelines. So Naval Ravikant has endorsed Donald Trump. He's a Silicon Valley guy. Legendary Silicon Valley investor Naval Ravikant told Megyn Kelly that the lawfare against former President Donald Trump caused him to get off the sidelines, adding, the moment you start weaponizing the law against your enemies means the beginning of the end and a descent into complete banana republic. Oh, I don't even know who this guy is, but damn, that's deep. That's deep. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, no, never mind. I was looking at something else. So here's a quote. It was the lawfare that kind of brought me off the sidelines. It's really disgusting behavior because this is how you descend into a complete banana republic with military coups and military rule, Ravikant told Kelly on a recent episode of the Megyn Kelly Show. Ravikant is the co-founder and former CEO of AngelList and has invested in more than 200 Silicon Valley startups over a multi-decade career of phenomenal success. So if you want to watch some of that interview, that's on the Breitbart link. Daily Caller, the deadliest crack in Kamala's campaign just burst wide open. I haven't read this, but let's go through it because I want to hear what this is. Vice President Kamala Harris has around 60 days left in this election to win over the American voter, but her campaign's biggest obstacle just blocked her path. They're talking about the jobs numbers. Look. Here, the problem here is the American people don't actually understand job numbers. They don't understand economic numbers. They don't understand figures. And the closer you get the election, the more basically straight up lies the Kamala Harris campaign says about Donald Trump that will be taken as true. For example, their constant hedging or haranguing on Project 2025, which is not Donald Trump's not his platform. But there are things that I'm sure that most conservatives would agree with that are in that 900-page document. I drink water just like Hitler did, okay? But they keep continually lying in their ads about Donald Trump. I've watched some of these ads. For example, she's talking. One of the ads I saw yesterday when I was watching the Vikings play was Kamala Harris saying, well, she's going to cut taxes for the middle class. Donald Trump wants to raise your taxes. Now, when have you ever heard Donald Trump talking about wanting to raise your taxes? And then they quoted that from the, I think from the Atlantic. Okay, they had a little quoted from the Atlantic, right? So here's how that works. The Donald Trump tax cuts that he did, which lowered taxes for everybody, lower middle and upper class, and it didn't lower it for people who didn't pay taxes because some, almost 40% of the population doesn't even pay income tax. But because those tax cuts are expected to expire, or I think they were supposed to expire this year, weren't they? Rather than claiming that, we're going to allow them to expire and we're raising taxes, they're going to say, oh no, Donald Trump is raising taxes on you, which is complete and utter bullshit. But it's amazing. So anyway, they constantly lie. Anyway, the latest job numbers expose her fraudulent border policies and reveal just how bad her administration has been for native-born Americans, both in both the economy and illegal immigration. It's not a secret the economy and illegal immigration are a thorn in the side of the Harris campaign. Both issues have consistently ranked at the top of a priority list among voters for almost a decade. U.S. Customs and Border Protection admit that there have been around 10 to 11 million illegal immigrants entering the country without authorization in the last 4 years. That number is just an estimate. It does not in any way account for the millions more who've come undetected. Harris knows this is an issue. This is why her campaign has shifted into attempting to portray her as the candidate who will be strong on the border, which she is not. Her recent ad shows her standing in front of the border wall, which ironically was built by former President Donald Trump, and her campaign speeches revolve around her supposed plans to attack illegal immigration. And she keeps talking about, well, when I was why'd you retract your message? Hello, why you want to know? Welcome to the show. I've never seen your name here before. Write that again and don't retract your damn message. Because I want to say hi. Anyway, so now she's talking about, when she was the California Attorney General, she prosecuted all these Mexican drug cartels. Like, she's tough on the border. Like, when was that? Because what have you done for me lately? Because you were the not the border czar, and you didn't do shit. And look, except for some election year reversing of some dumb Biden policies, which Biden did at the last minute, and trying to put up a bullshit border bill that was jack shit. All it was a let's process them faster bill. And now the reason that there are less illegal crossings, or let's say less crossings at non-points of entry is because now you're busing and flying them in through points of entry through the same bullshit ideas that you had for the ones who were coming across the border. All they need to know is one word. They need to know one word in the English language. Asylum. Well, what's your name? Asylum. Well, where are your documents? Asylum. You're going to come across here illegally? Asylum. And so then they process them. That's all that new border bill was going to do. It wasn't hiring 100,000 agents to stop people from crossing the border. It was to process more people more efficiently, and that's why they wanted to take it down to 2,500 a week, because then they could do that more efficiently, and then the drug cartels could say, well, you know what, we're going to make it so we can get the maximum amount across the border. It's just a bunch of bullshit. So anyway, so I guess this is saying that the jobs numbers, which has pretty much only has been beneficial to people who are immigrants or illegal immigrants and not to native-born Americans, that's what the new job numbers show. That a vast majority of those so-called new jobs that the Biden administration is touting went to people who are not native-born Americans. So that's basically the big fuck you that they don't want to tell you. And so she's trying to hide it and say, oh, I'll be tough on the border. Yeah, sure I will. Moving on. Also in the Daily Caller, here's how one Biden-appointed judge ruling could bring drilling in the Gulf of Mexico to a halt. Apparently, a single ruling from a judge appointed by President Joe Biden may end up halting oil and gas drilling in the Gulf of Mexico in December. Judge Deborah Boardman, a Biden-appointed district judge in the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland, sided with the suing environmentalists in August to vacate a key National Marine Fisheries Service environmental review known as a biological opinion underlying offshore drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. Unless the federal government manages to revise the biological opinion by December 20th and barring intervention from a higher court or the Congress, the ruling could force offshore oil and gas drilling to grind to a halt as developers decide whether to proceed at their own risk or shut down their operations until a new review is issued, according to multiple energy sector experts and stakeholders. So in other words, a judge is basically decided that that's their most important thing. The revocation of a duly issued permit such as this on such a specious grounds by a single judge places all other duly issued permits in the area occupied by this endangered or other endangered or threatened species in jeopardy. David Blackman, a 40-year veteran of the oil and gas industry, who now writes and consults on energy issues, told the Daily Caller. So, Is that a good thing? Could that, it's weird too. So apparently, you know how the Biden administration kind of depleted the strategic oil reserves, because he was trying to keep gas prices lower, and it had minor effect on keeping them going up higher and higher and higher, but it was basically a failure. Well, apparently just recently, the Biden administration has been refilling the reserves, right? And obviously at a much higher price than they would have during the Trump administration. Remember, during the Trump administration, when the reserves were low from prior usage for whatever they did, Trump took advantage of the fact that oil prices were low and refilled the reserves up to about 100%. Well, they were historically low under Biden. They've been reapportioning them to the reserves. But normally, you know how that when you do that, obviously they're taking oil off the market, and you would think that prices are going up, but prices have been kind of staying steady. And we're just wondering, is that an artificial? Are they artificially keeping the prices low around the world? Because usually when you take away from supply, replenishing your reserves, that would cause prices to rise. Now we have this issue where they might be shutting down production in the Gulf of Mexico unless they get this thing taken care of. You would think that oil futures would be going way up unusually for this time of year, because usually this time of year, for example, gas prices get lower because they start changing formulas to winter blends, so you're going to get lower priced gas. It won't be. And then it's so funny because every president does this. Oh, gas prices go down towards the end of an election year because they changed to winter formula gases. And they all say, oh, yeah, see, we were successful in lowering the price of gas. No, that's every year. I don't care which administration it is. But anyway, we're at all-time lows in supply now, too. Right. And so was the price of oil skyrocketing, especially because they still have they fixed Nord Stream? Because it's funny, whether Ukrainians blew up Nord Stream or the CIA blew up Nord Stream, that still fucks with supply. And so it doesn't matter who's supplying oil around the world. If supply dwindles, prices go up. So I'm going to blame the Biden administration for that too. They either did it or they greenlighted it for Ukraine to do it. And that's why, even though we're producing more oil and gas, apparently, that's what someone keeps saying, the prices didn't go down because they fucked with Nord Stream. The world supply doesn't care who's selling it. So anyway, I'm almost out of time here. Here we go. Legal insurrection. Biden ignored Vineyard wind blade failure in recent remarks about green schemes. Oh, here it is. Biden, given the scale of the, okay. The saga of Vineyard Farms offshore blade failure near Nantucket continues. A few weeks ago, the facility was closed because of the failure of Vineyard Wind's newly installed wind turbines, and the city was poised to sue. After one blade failed and ended up in the water, the beaches were cluttered with sharp fiberglass shards, which is a suboptimal condition at the height of the summer tourist season. Continuing investigation into the cause of this environmental contamination incident determined that a manufacturing flaw in the blade was responsible for the failure. More recently, a flotilla of about 24 commercial and recreational fishing vessels steamed into the wind farm to protest offshore wind development. Given the scale of the impact, one might think that one would warrant a remark by some kind from the latest instigator of the Green New Deal. But no! During a recent discussion of wind farms, Biden was silent on the subject. Biden's first remarks on his administration's push for offshore wind energy development since the Vineyard Wind's turbine blade failure on July 13th. He renewed the commitment to one of the pillars of his climate change agenda, but declined to mention the incident off Nantucket or the fact that the signature project remains suspended by the federal government. So anyway, one of these turbines kind of failed. There's a picture of it. Oh, I didn't show you a picture of it. Here's a picture of it. That failed, and there's shards of fiberglass all on the beaches and shit. That's not good. Speaking of which, what was it? Biden also, what did he do the other day? Oh, he admitted that the Inflation Reduction Act, really probably was wrongly named, because now he's touting the fact that the Inflation Reduction Act was, now he doesn't use the words Green New Deal in a disguise, but he now is admitting that it was the greatest, climate legislation that they've ever done. And he said it was probably wrongly named because it wasn't meant to reduce inflation, but it was a climate reduction or climate, a climate bill. I think maybe because Kamala Harris wants to be a climate president, that now he's admitting it. That she can campaign for Democrats. Oh, we did the most important climate bill ever in the history of all times ever. Yeah, he's admitting it now. That is bullshit. And Breitbart. Apparently, Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro says Harris flipping on issues is a sign of strength. So her going from the most liberal United States senator, even more so than Bernie Sanders, is a sign of strength that she's no longer that. Apparently, on Friday's broadcast of ABC's The View, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro said that it's a sign of strength that the 2024 Democratic presidential candidate, Vice President Kamala Harris, has changed her position on several issues and that she listened to Pennsylvanians on fracking. Oh, I wish I had an awe. Oh, here. She's so good. She's so wonderful. She's the best. Here's Josh Shapiro. Oh, hell no. I'm not doing 7 minutes of this asshole. Josh Shapiro, the Barack Obama sound modulator. He tries to sound like Barack Obama. Free Beacon, Bob Casey, what's he now? Senator? Yeah, Senator Bob Casey from Pennsylvania said Dave McCormick's hedge funds delivered benefits to Pennsylvania retirees and economy, but now he's attacking it. Democratic Senator Bob Casey has criticized Republican challenger Dave McCormick over his past role at the hedge fund Bridgewater Associates, but Casey spoke highly of the investment firm's offering when he served as top Pennsylvania official overseeing the Commonwealth's pension funds, which brought on Bridgewater to great benefit to both the retirees and to our economy as a whole. But now that he's got to run against him, he's like, fuck this guy. He's terrible. But before he praised him, you can read that on your own. Free Beacon also, Democratic Senate candidate Alyssa Slotkin opposed the Chinese-tied electric vehicle plant. But Slotkin's she didn't say shit about it before, but now suddenly she's opposed to a Chinese-tied electric vehicle plant. So sounds like a lot of Democrats are changing their minds for elections. Shocker. Of course, Republicans do that shit too. Even Donald Trump did it with that abortion thing in Florida. But the idea that politicians are often loyal to positions or anything, well, all bets are off when election season comes around. That's why we had a border bill during the election year. 6 months, 3.5 years into Joe Biden's administration, suddenly he cares about immigration. It's beautiful. Also, the Free Beacon. Apparently, Tim Walz's China travel business was dissolved for failing to pay a $26 operating tax, according to records. Corporate tax hike advocate Tim Walz and his China travel company shut down by the Nebraska government for failing to pay a minor business operating tax in 1998, according to corporate records. Educational Travel Adventures, which Walz founded with his wife in 1995 to run group trips to China,
China is asshole.
Was dissolved by Nebraska's Secretary of State for non-payment of occupational taxes, just $26 annually in April 1998. The company was left defunct for years, even as Walz continued to organize group tours to China. I don't get it. $26? That's why he shut down the company? In 2008, after Walz was elected to Congress, he repaid 10 years of back taxes and interest amounting to $235 to get the company reinstated. Wait, after he was elected to Congress, he's starting to get the company that's making these Chinese tours to get the company reinstated? I'm confused. Is Tim Walz beholden to China? What's with Democrats in China? I don't get it.
China is asshole.
All right, other headlines. I'm just going to go through the headlines. In legal insurrection, Nate Silver douses Operation Demoralize. Harris on the decline, and key swing state polls. Well, we'll see. Let's see if her Joy campaign will continue to flail, or if it'll get better because she's so wonderful. Daily Caller, less vibes, more policy. Here's why Harris is polling worse than past Democratic candidates. Well, here's the thing, though. I think I think Harris just finally put policy positions on her website this weekend, because I saw the Krasinski brothers tooting their horns about it. Now Republicans' talking point is going to be moot because she put policies on her website. Fuck off. It took her this long? I don't know. So anyway, but she's still leading in national polls. Political strategists point out that she's still under Democratic candidates in 2020 and 2016. Yeah, because if she's polling ahead, she needs to be polling ahead by like 10, 12, 15 points. Because even though there's a margin error of 3 to 4 points in these polls, Trump has always outperformed polls by at least 9%. By 9% in 2020, by 15% in 2016. So if she's not up, if she's not up 10 or 15, don't get so excited, Democrats. PJ Media, how Donald Trump can turn Kamala Harris into Mr. Bean. They're talking about at the debate. That's Tuesday night, by the way. We might have to watch that live. We might have to watch the debate live. It's an opinion piece. Breitbart, Trump praises RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard for their endorsements. Well, of course he does. You know how Donald Trump is. If you endorse him, you are the best thing since sliced bread. If you are against him, He's got a funny name for your ass. All right, you can read that yourself. Legal insurrection, which party will win control of the Senate? This is interesting because Rick Scott seems to be holding on in Florida. And Justice is probably going to win. Manchin's out in West Virginia. He's going to lose. I don't think the dude in Montana, Tester's behind in Montana too. So that's 3 seats right there. It'll be interesting to see. The problem is Democrats are defending way more seats than the Republicans. And so the turnover could be crazy. Plus, there's toss-up races in Arizona, Florida, Michigan, Montana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Of these races, Republicans have either an excellent chance of winning Florida, Montana, and a shot at Ohio, possibly Pennsylvania. Democrats are likely to win Senate races in Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. You just never know if Kamala has coattails or skirt tails or whatever you want to call it. We'll see. And then there's a couple other articles, but I got to go. Oh, Bernie Sanders just exposed Kamala Harris as a fraud scamming the voters. Bernie was on Meet the Press, and I think he's upset with her abandoning a lot of her progressive ideals with some of the shit, because he's not happy about her changing her mind on a few things. So Bernie kind of ripped her to shreds on Meet the Press. But anyway, there's a bunch of other articles. I got to go, guys. Y'all, thank you for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I'm going to drop these links in the chat right now before I go. But I'll be back tomorrow, like always, doing my thing here at the little studio, the Lucky Dog Studios here. Will you do me a favor? I haven't looked at this. Let me check here. I want to check something before we go. Let me check something here. I want to see. As I look on the screen here, we got 34 people here and 28 likes. So that's not bad. But if there's 29 likes. That's the other part. Fix that now while you're here. Okay, there's 34 people here. 30. Okay, we're getting there. Y'all have figured it out. Y'all stop saying bye to everybody. Hold up. Hit the like button first. Don't be typing in the chat. Just hit the like button. And if you want to sponsor the show, thank you. Our Streamlive Superstar sponsor of the gig, Gunfox61. Also, Avocados Diablo sponsors the show today. You all are great Americans. Okay, here's today's links in the chat. Today's links. Boom, boom. There you go. That's it. All right. Thanks, everybody. I got to go. My name is P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Bye. Have a great day. Love you. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thanks for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.